Hey, so this is a great comment because what I learned about the way that the mind works and addiction and dopamine is that for me, when I first got sober, I felt the same way. I was like, oh, this is just not fun. Like, I'm not enjoying myself being out at parties anymore, or, going and rock climbing or cliff jumping or all these amazing things that I absolutely love to do. The thing is that drugs flood our brains with dopamine and trick us into thinking that we want to do that more than anything else. Because like I was saying in one of my earlier videos, your brain can't distinguish between the dopamine that gets released when you fall in love and the dopamine that gets released when you do drugs. So your brain only knows whatever that action is that you're doing in this moment. Continue to repeat that process because this is making me feel good. And so when I understood that dopamine gets released 10 times the amount of dopamine gets released when you use drugs compared to when you fall in love, I was like, of course everything else seems boring. Like, I could go jump off of a cliff right now and that would seem boring because drugs have tricked my mind into thinking that I get more excitement, more enjoyment out of doing drugs than I do by having fun and getting my adrenaline pumping and doing all these things. Drugs are designed to do that. They are purposefully designed to release that flood of dopamine. And once I understood that, I was like, this is just a trick. It's just an illusion. The illusion that everything is great, everything is amazing, everything feels amazing on dope, it's just an illusion. It's not reality. And so once I understood that, I was like, the reality is that I need to find things that are fulfilling for myself, that release dopamine, that I find better than sitting on a couch all day just nodding out. And once I figured that out, I was like, okay, the trick is to constantly feel like I'm on drugs. And I do that by helping people, by bettering myself, my education, reaching different levels of consciousness. Those things make me feel fulfilled, and my things aren't necessarily the same things that make other people fulfilled. That's just what works for me. So like I said, once I figured out that I can get just as high from life than I can from drugs, then I was like, life is much more enjoyable.